Hello, you're listening to Reviewing History, your comedy history podcast. I'm filmmaker and teacher Brian Rupert, joined here by...
As always, I don't know my name in Hebrew. Steve Medaglia.
Hi, I'm Ant.
Hey, here we go.
No last name for him. He's just... You're you.
June it up today, Brian.
We've done a lot of Christmas. We've done a lot of Catholic stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
I figured it was time to talk about the plight of my people and bring a little Judaism to the table.
Sure.
Right.
This is dropping on, I think, like the 5th night of Hanukkah. So, we're right in the heart of it.
Yeah. Festival of Lights.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Hanukkah story.
When you said your people, I was thinking filmmakers, but okay.
I was thinking bankers.
Well,
Teachers.
I know it's Hanukkah, guys, and we're doing the Hanukkah episode
Shalom.
today. Shalom. But I have a great deal for the listeners.
Sounds like a mitzvah for everybody.
It's good for everybody. You do a mitzvah if you do this.
What's happening?
Right now. Available. Our Christmas podcast is available. I know it's ironic on the Hanukkah episode.
It is ironic, yeah.
But buy it. There's almost no Hanukkah talk. I don't think it comes up once, as it shouldn't in the Christmas episode.
No, I think it does very briefly.
For like a second?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you do. I think you brought it up.
Anyway, but I thought I alluded to it, but I never bring it up.
You said lewd.
Yeah.
Lewd.
But right now on bandcamp.com, thank you everybody that has already supported it. But if you haven't, this is your chance. It's $5.
Is band camp really a thing? Like, do band people go to camp and shove things in their vaginas? Does that really happen?
Oh, yeah, that's real.
Oh, you know what's funny? I actually thought he was asking if Bandcamp, like what we're
The
selling
website,
the album.
yeah.
And I'm like, you saw the sales. Like
It's a fake
real.
website. I'm directing
They
people
have
to.
our tax info.
No, I'm just talking about the American Pie thing.
Okay. No, that's real.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You've been to Bandcamp?
You've
seen it?
been, but
you talk to people who've been there?
I have met people who've been there.
And they do a lot of fucking?
It's all sex?
They have said it's very horned up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of tightened strings that got to be loosened when they're there, yeah.
But
See what I did there? See what I did there? You know, when you like got to tune the instrument and tighten the string.
Yeah.
They got to loosen them up when they go there.
I don't get the reference. What does that mean?
Let's continue.
But you know what's tight? The Christmas podcast. You get 5 hours of Christmas content, which I think is great.
He used the word tight. That's endearment.
And last time he was saying things were bad.
What year are we in?
Why are you from 1986?
I meant tight like it's well put together and
No, you didn't.
No, that's really how I meant
No,
it.
that's tight. Yeah.
Yeah, you meant it like that.
Shit.
You meant it like an 80s rapper.
But listen, a lot of
Bass.
80s music.
How low can you go?
Who's your favorite 80s rapper?
I'm better than LL in the 80s.
Yeah, it's true.
But guys, it's on
Yeah.
bandcamp.com. It's $5. Half the money goes to St. Jude Children's Hospital.
Saying who?
St. Jude.
I think we got to
which fits in the
I want to
St.
explain
Jude episode.
something a little more, though, with that. Half the money does go to St. Jude's, but half the money of the original price goes to St. Jude's. You can donate more if you want, and anything you donate more is going straight to St. Jude's. This is a $5 project. You pay $10, $2.50 go to us. The rest is going to St. Jude. We're not keeping half of the
And
donation.
G gets 50 cents for every dollar me and Steve make on it.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds fair.
I think
The psychic warned me about this.
Great callback. Excellent. So, guys, go on Bandcamp. Everybody that has bought it already, thank you. If you haven't, please check it out. There's only 2 more weeks of us doing this.
Yeah.
I promise.
And the shirts that are on sale, they are limited edition.
Yes, those go away.
Those are going away.
The 26th, 25th, as the clock strikes midnight, gone forever. You'll never see them again.
I did plan on removing the audio package, but then we decided no.
Yeah,
we'll
leave
keep
that
it.
audio.
We'll leave it up, but the shirt has to go.
Yeah, you'll always be able to get the Christmas album, but do it now because help St. Jude is the Christmas season, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
But if you want to donate after, we'll still send it.
Yep.
That's okay.
All right.
No, we won't. Like, who are we kidding? Are we really going to send $2 over?
We're pocketing everything.
If somebody bought the thing months from now, like after we've already sent all the other money, are we really going to be like $2 to send? We're not going to do that. I'm just going to tell you right now. If it gets left out, we're probably going to pocket all the money. I'm not going to lie to you, folks. We're too lazy to resend the
Don't
money.
listen to
so
him.
if you want the money to go to St.
I will
Jude's,
send the money.
he's
Don't
lying.
listen to him.
He's so lying.
Anthony is not in charge of the finances.
Yeah.
He has no handle and grasp on reality. Don't listen
He
to him.
doesn't know what's
He has
going on.
no
at
idea
the
what's
time.
happening.
Anthony shows up to do the show and is not involved in any of the behind the scenes bullshit.
He has
Like
no
me and
idea we're
Steve
making
are.
a killing.
We tell him, yeah, we made this amount.
Yeah, we're not making anything.
Me and Steve are driving home in our Bentleys.
He doesn't even see the Bentleys. He just walks straight to his car.
Yeah.
He doesn't look left or right.
They're parked on both sides of him. He doesn't realize. And one is like
He goes, "These are
Brian,
nice
the
cars."
other is Steve. The license plates are personalized. Brian, Steve.
They got this reviewing history sticker on the
Yeah.
back.
He's like, oh.
Oh, these are nice
Walks right
cars.
to
Must
the-
be good fans.
On the drive here today, there was about 8 Corvettes that sped past me on the highway.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, look at that. There's a bunch of Corvettes. And Steve goes, yeah, that's the what did you call
Is it
it?
at the Cool Corvette
The
Club
cool-
only with K's?
Yeah. Yeah, but they spell everything with a K.
With a K.
Bad marketing.
Yeah, they all got arrested. Nobody knew why.
Their meetups never go as planned.
Yeah, anytime they make a flyer, the Cool Corvette Club, they say whites only, like white
Yeah,
Corvettes.
yeah,
And it just goes wrong.
Son of a bitch stole my line.
Well, you're
You
the
said
one who
that
said
in the
it.
car.
Yeah.
Steve, you workshopped it with Steve, and he used it the first
Right
chance
there,
he got.
I said another joke. You could take it. You could take the other one.
Forget it.
Yeah.
That one
See?
has the racial slur when they're alone.
No. I said they put a cross on the flyer because it's in the church parking lot.
All right. So check out the album, guys.
Yeah.
Back to the show. So
It's gonna be one of those.
But also surgeons and lawyers.
Academia in general, really.
look, we're educated people. We're very smart. We place a high value on it, you know.
Do you?
But, you know. So we're here. We're doing a movie. I figured because the Jews suffered for 40 years, I can make you guys suffer 40 years walking through the desert. I
Right,
can
right,
make
right.
you guys suffer for 90 minutes and watch the Old Testament.
This movie stunk.
So I'm gonna give a quick thing here. I texted Brian. I was like, "Listen, this is top 5 worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
It's also
It's so bad.
probably the least accurate thing we've ever done.
It's
I actually
so
think it's
bad.
pretty accurate.
It is.
I don't think so at all.
No.
There's a lot that's accurate and there's a lot that's
There's
inaccurate.
one scene that they do well, and we'll talk
Yeah.
about it. But everything else has nothing to do with reality.
It's so bad. It might be the worst thing ever made.
I
It's
think
close.
the timeline is sped up on some things and it's out of order, but I think it gets kind of a lot of the broad strokes correct.
How broad are the
We'll get into
strokes?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
there were Hebrews. That's a broad
You
stroke.
said yesterday that it was like watching a Mystery Science Theater movie, and I think that was a good assessment.
Thank you. You got to talk into the mic though.
I'm sorry.
Um,
I'm unprofessional.
yeah. I think so. I
Yeah.
think we could easily be doing Mystery Science Theater and it would have worked very well because it's that level of bad. Like it's not even made well. There's one redeeming quality which I'll mention at the end of the show, but
Okay.
that's about it.
Brian, what the fuck is this movie, and where did you find
Yeah,
it?
why did you do this? I know you want to torture us, but this was on another level.
All right. Look, I knew it would be bad and cheap.
Mhm.
I knew that, this is like a forgotten movie.
Yeah.
And I think to be fair to the movie, we're watching a film that hasn't been restored or touched up. That's like
Yeah.
strung together with like dead like film strips that aren't even like sequenced properly together. Like you could tell some parts of the film
Yes.
are like different reels that they put together because they age differently.
Mhm.
You know?
I will say this: the lighting in this movie is so atrocious.
Everything is
you
bad.
cannot see what's going
I-
on most of the time.
Everything
I
is
saw
bad.
everything. I think I really
No, it was dark.
Is that from degraded film, or was that how it originally looked? In 1963.
I don't think that's how it originally looked, only
I think it's
because the
degraded
settings and the
Mhm.
costumes were actually done very well.
No, they're not.
No, they were.
No, they're not.
If you look at like certain scenes in the background, it's like, oh, they actually put some effort into the background.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like
So
the
there's
settings.
there's a castle and it looks okay. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Right.
But the costumes are atrocious. They're all wrong.
They are wrong, but they look cool. They just look cool. I'm not talking about accuracy here. I'm just
Okay.
talking about how it looks. Like the costumes look cool.
All right.
You know what I mean? Like the
Fine.
Syrian armor looks cool.
But it's not what it should be.
Oh no, that's a completely different topic.
See, I didn't know what would the Syrian armor be.
Okay, so first of all, they're calling them Syrians. They're
They're not Syrians. Yeah,
This is the Seleucid Empire. We'll get into that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But they should look like Greeks. Like
Yeah.
fucking Alexander's army, essentially.
They're from
Okay.
Rome.
No, they're
no, they're Greek.
they're Persian.
They're a vassal state.
I'll get into
No,
it.
in
no,
this,
they're not a vassal.
in this, it looks like they're from Rome. They have Roman like.
Sometimes they're
places.
Roman, and then sometimes they're like weird Eastern things with
Yeah.
crazy hats.
Yeah. Do you know what this? Do you know what I thought this was? I'll give the best example. If you didn't watch this movie, I'm gonna save you some pain here.
Mhm.
This is the equivalent of a bunch of Italian dudes in the 60s getting together.
What do we got?
They got a loose
Yeah.
idea of what the biblical story might have been,
Mhm.
and they're like, we could throw this together. We got a little bit of money.
Yeah.
And then they just tried their best.
well, the funny
They're
thing,
also like desperately trying to make you think of Ben-Hur.
But
Yeah.
they
all
didn't
the
know how to
time.
translate like the Bible and shit, so they just kind of like loosely got some stuff maybe.
well, this
got some names.
Hanukkah isn't even a story in the Old Testament.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. The Old Testament ends. The last book of the Old Testament is
Yeah, there were menorahs
is-
everywhere. There
is
shouldn't
like,
have been.
It's like Ezekiel or something like that.
Okay, but in the Christian Bible, it might not be in the Torah. I don't know.
It's not in the Old Testament. I'm telling
No,
you.
it
Was,
is.
uh,
There's two books. There's Maccabees 1 and Maccabees 2.
That's not it. That's not a part of the Old Testament.
Wasn't
it is.
Israel as a location not in the Old Testament either?
It was Judea.
It was Judea. It was not Israel. And they're like, for Israel. And it's like, wait a minute. What?
Well, I think the concept of the nation of Israel was a thing.
At this time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like as just a Jewish homeland. I don't know if they used the
I don't think
term
they used the
Israel.
term because
Yeah,
Israel
no,
was a
they-
person.
They use Israel
I
as
think they do.
in the
the
Old
term.
Testament,
But
though?
in the Old Testament.
But in
Okay.
in the Christian Bible, there's Maccabees 1 and Maccabees 2. I should say the Catholic Bible because most Protestants actually remove Maccabees 2 because they don't like some of the stuff in there,
Okay.
which has to deals with like the nature of the afterlife and shit. Maccabees 1 is the historical account of what this movie
Yes.
should be. Of course, it's nothing like what's portrayed on screen,
And Maccabees 1 is pretty accurate for the most part.
as far as we know. Yeah.
Well, there's another report because obviously that's written from the Jewish perspective more.
Mhm.
There's another report that this Greek guy wrote. I got to get his name, but he wrote a report as well about like the incident that was more neutral, and it basically lines up.
Yeah, I mean, there's corroborating sources. You've got Roman sources, Greek sources, Seleucid sources, and archaeological evidence that, we'll put all these stories together and you'll get some semblance of what actually happened. Same thing as any other historical event. This one just happens to be in a religious text.
Yeah, this is the intertestamental period because it's between the Old Testament and the New Testament.
It's very close
No, it's that.
to Christ.
It's
On the
164
timeline,
BC.
Yeah.
Where in 160 years Christ is being born.
So yeah, I guess we require some background.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Well, can we finish talking about the movie real quick?
yeah, sure.
So here's how I found it. We do all this Christmas stuff. I was like, man, it sucks. Mel Gibson never got to make that makeup movie. He had to go do his.
He was gonna do that, right?
He was gonna do that, and then he did the drunk incident thing,
Sugar Tits.
sugar tits, and all that, and the
Yeah.
phone call,
Right.
and that
Right,
killed
right.
his Maccabee movie,
It
which
always
I was
returns to
desperate to
Mel.
see.
That would have been cool.
It would have been awesome. So I was like, man, it sucks it never happened. And I was like, last year, I was like, I wonder if it's ever been done and we don't know about it and it's been forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
So I put in Hanukkah movies, right? And a
Uh-huh.
bunch came up and a lot of them were bullshit fake things where it's modern love rom-coms and shit.
Yeah.
And I saw this and I was like, oh, this is an old Italian movie from the 60s.
Yeah.
And I looked at the poster.
It looks like Heston.
The poster looks real.
It looks like
Yeah.
a real
Well,
movie.
the
Yeah.
poster says blood feud in the Holy Land. And I was like, okay,
This is gonna be cool.
This is gonna be it's gonna be exploitation.
Uh-huh.
It's gonna be a B movie.
Uh-huh.
I fucking can't
You're
wait.
all in.
I was like, I was waiting a year to watch this.
You had
Oh,
a year to look
you
this
found
up.
out about this last year?
Found out about it last year. I put it in my back pocket.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I'll see. I wasn't even sure if it would be available this year. And I saw it was when we were getting ready to do this. I was like, oh, I'm picking the Old Testament.
We watched this on Amazon.
Yes. It is on YouTube, I found out.
God damn it. For free?
Yeah.
Son of a Is it the hour and a half or
It's the 90-minute we watch.
The hour and a half.
It's actually less. So there's some stuff missing.
Okay. Because
you know what?
there were two versions when I looked this up.
Keep going.
There was the hour and a half version,
I didn't know there was another version.
and then there's an hour 55.
Well, thank God I watched the shorter one.
I feel like this movie needed the hour 55 maybe, but like
It's an hour 15.
hour 15?
Yeah.
No, so there's an hour and a half and an hour 15. I thought there was an hour 55. I
There's
read.
not an hour 55.
Oh, I was mistaken then. Never mind.
I mean, it still is cutting out a lot
It's
that
so
maybe would have
poorly
added
done.
some context.
Yeah. It's so quick and like weird and just all over the place. Bad writing. Just everything is bad. I have nothing good
I'll
to say.
defend some of the writing.
Okay.
You're going to defend the writing?
Some of it, yeah. Simon has a character arc.
He does.
You can't deny that they give Simon an arc.
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's an arc,
not
more of
what
a
His
small
act-
bridge.
with the actual person or anything like that.
It's a small hump hill.
No,
like,
they
not really
get
an arc.
some things. Well, he starts as like a capo. And by the end, he's like,
A capo.
Captain Jew.
Captain.
You know?
By the end, he's still a capo.
We could go into the background.
Okay. Where shall I begin?
Well, we got to start.
Let's go way back.
We're going ancient Jews, like
Yeah.
ancient.
Okay. Yeah.
So the Jews, everybody knows, come out of Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
They conquer the Canaanites and make them set up shop in what is today Israel, the Holy Land, right?
Yeah.
They build Jerusalem. Sometime after that, the Babylonians come along, conquer the Jews, and export them all to Babylon as
Yep.
slaves.
They're freed by Cyrus.
Cyrus the Great of Persia will come along and conquer the Babylonians. They allow the Jews to return to the Holy Land and kind of rule them with a light hand, kind of almost autonomous.
Yeah.
Cyrus,
It's like, give us a little taxes, we'll leave you alone.
yeah, and
Yeah.
we'll just let us do our own thing.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll protect you here and there.
Then after that, a couple of 100 years down the road, a guy named Alexander the Great comes along
Yep.
and destroys the Persian Empire.
And the world.
He inherits the Holy Land and dies. So in the aftermath of his death, there is a series of wars known as the Wars of the Diadochi. And one of the key players in this, and the guy who kind of comes out on top of everything, is a man named Seleucus. He is one of Alexander's generals.
Mhm.
At the start of this, he's a minor
Is he in
general.
Alexander?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which character?
I think
is
we
he?
spoke
Seleucus.
about him.
Well, no. What actor
I
was he?
don't know.
Okay.
Really, the two big winners in that are Ptolemy and Seleucus.
Mhm.
Ptolemy is in Egypt. He becomes the pharaoh. He's played by Anthony Hopkins in
Yes.
Alexander.
Mhm.
And Seleucus, who will inherit the heartland of what was Persia. He dies. His son Antiochus takes over, and they have a couple of years of good times, and they have a nice, powerful empire for themselves. Meanwhile, on the other side of the Mediterranean, Rome is rising, and rising hard style. Antiochus I think it's his grandson, is Antiochus III, who will be known as Antiochus the Great, and he expands the empire in all directions. And fun fact, after Hannibal,
You're named after him?
no, Hannibal, who was defeated by the Romans in
Denzel Washington.
He in his retirement in exile will go become a military advisor for Antiochus and make them that much more powerful.
Okay.
He gets, I should say Ptolemy had been in control of the Holy Land at this point. It's under Egyptian jurisdiction. And
The empire went out that far?
oh yeah.
Huh.
Antiochus will fight Ptolemy, the Ptolemy, it's his descendants, and take it finally. Now, when he dies, his son is known as a mad king, Antiochus IV. Now, that is the principal guy we're going to be dealing with in this film.
Yeah.
He decides that
He really wants the Jews to stop
Yeah.
being Jews.
what I haven't spoken about is throughout all of this is the process of Hellenization.
Yes.
Um,
Turning everybody Greek.
Everybody's becoming Greek. The Greek gods have permeated like the world.
The Romans.
Yes. The Romans love the Greeks.
Yeah.
And all of the Middle East essentially is worshiping Zeus and fucking Jupiter, not Jupiter, but Zeus.
Is that
and
what
Athena.
the Arabs are worshiping? Because Muhammad hasn't come around yet. So are they
No.
like
Well, they have their own thing,
Like
but
their
yeah,
own pagan
that's,
style thing?
That's come into the region, absolutely. And Antiochus IV has had enough of this
monotheistic
Jehovah.
God?
Yeah. So he does everything in his power to stomp down on the Hebrew faith. They're part of this empire, and the big man in Judea is the high priest. He is like the governor, essentially.
The love gov.
The love gov. So what Antiochus and his guys will do is they outlaw the Sabbath, they outlaw circumcision,
Yep.
they outlaw being kosher.
Yep. They do shit to really try to
Right.
break them of the faith.
They make it so that pagan idols can be put in the temple.
That's kind of the breaking point.
Well, yes. And another thing they do is, I should say this, kind of the upper classes of the Jerusalem society, including the high priest, people that really do a lot of business with the Greeks, not the lower classes themselves, start to adopt all the Greek shit.
Okay.
And it's going bad.
So there's probably sects where it's sects, not like sections of the faith where it's like, we're going to bring these idols into the temple. You probably had some people who were like, whatever.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah.
I don't care.
It happens in the movie.
Yeah. They start to assimilate.
Well, no, in the
into-
movie, they try to stop them.
Well,
They say the idol's not
well-
coming into the church. I guarantee you there's
No,
some people
but-
who are like, I don't care if this thing's in the temple or not. It doesn't matter to me. I'm doing
the
business.
movie would have you think
that everyone was like,
every
no.
Jew
Yeah.
is like
That's not the
under
case.
under oppression.
We are
Yes, we're the good
Abraham.
guys.
The Jews were actually split. It was like
Yes.
50-50.
Most
that's
of
what
the
I wanted to bring up,
Maccabees
yeah.
fighting is against other Jews.
That's what I wanted to bring
Well,
up.
the
yeah.
Maccabees are the hardline, super religious guys.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you have the ones who are more like, whatever, I don't
Yeah,
care.
Right.
In this
exactly.
movie, there's a clear line.
There's Jews and then there's foreigners.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is pretty standard to do in movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need a good and a bad, right?
So they set up this thing. Greek schools come into town. They start teaching the children, Greek ways.
Right.
And then they put a gymnasium. Gymnasium is a thoroughly Greek thing where people get nude and
They
work
wrestle.
out. And what you can do when people get nude and work out,
Put oil on
is
each
check
other.
their dicks.
Yeah, put oil on each other and wrestle.
So they see who is circumcised and who is not.
Yeah.
And if you are not if you are chopping your dick, you're going to be persecuted and like arrested. So it's a way to like monitor the populace.
Dick checking.
It's dick checking. They're checking dicks.
There's some guy who's like his job all day. He's
in
the pecker
fact,
inspector.
There are like certain Jews who will have, I don't know how they do this, but they like graft skin to make it look like they undo their circumcision.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You can actually undo your circumcision.
How do you do that?
If
Put
you,
weights.
No.
Stretching.
This is a real thing. If you push your dickhead in and you pull the skin over it back,
What? And just hold it there for a long time?
and you get like they sell like a special thing, and you kind of almost tie it around like the skin. The foreskin will stretch, and you will like regrow.
That's what I just said. I wasn't
your
joking.
foreskin. Yeah,
I mean, I was joking, but like that's a real thing. Yeah.
yeah.
You're not regrowing the foreskin. You're stretching your existing skin to
become
take
a
its
foreskin.
place. Yeah.
So, in 175 BC, Onias, the high priest, is replaced by Joshua.
Joshua. I can't help it. I can't help it. Every time I hear that fucking name, I have to do that.
That's Tom Green.
That's
Yes,
Tom
I
Green
have to.
doing stand-up from the Tom Green Show.
Yeah.
Which I think it's one of the funniest things ever recorded. He goes to this comedy club in like the Bahamas or something. And he's like, Tom Green's here. If he's famous from MTV, he's going to do a stand-up set. And he gets on mic and just makes noises
Yeah.
and just screams and makes noises for like 5
One of the funniest bits ever.
It is hysterical. And everyone is like looking and they don't know what's happening. And he gets thrown out of the club. It is so fucking
There was
funny.
one diehard comedy person in there loving it. Just like, this is amazing. Like, this is so good. Joshua.
So Joshua is definitely pro-Greek.
All right.
He adopts a Greek name, Jason.
Not too far off from Joshua.
He will send Jewish athletes to like their Olympic games and shit, where they will sacrifice to Hercules. He will have like pigs they're having their blood spilt in the temple. This is pissing off a lot of people. But for Antiochus, even he is not Greek enough. So he has him replaced by another guy named Menelaus. And Menelaus is even more.
That is a great
fucking
name.
It's metal.
Menelaus.
It's very metal.
Menelaus.
Oh,
yeah.
metal.
Oh. Well, it sounds like metal.
And then Antiochus goes to Egypt to try and conquer it outright. While he's there, Menelaus just goes buck wild on the persecutions of the Jews.
He goes hard.
Yeah.
Well, his boss isn't there anymore.
So the former guy, Joshua, will oust him while Antiochus is on campaign.
Now, when you say oust, it's not like
They like
just to make it clear.
They like get armed guys.
Yeah,
Come,
it's
you're
not
out.
like-
I'm in.
Yeah. It's a coup. It's a
Yeah,
coup. Well,
right.
we have to make that clear because it's
You're
not
right.
like it's
A democratic
right.
process.
Right. Yeah.
Ptolemy over in Egypt will contact Rome and say, please help us. We're going to be conquered by the Seleucids. So the Romans step in, and this is when, the long vassalage of Egypt will be to Rome, that
Mhm.
goes all
Yeah.
the way down to Cleopatra. This is when Egypt essentially gets added to the Roman sphere of
Empire,
influence. So now Antiochus, who has just lost a war.
And the Jews, this kind of also begins their relationship with Rome
A
shortly
little bit later,
after.
but yes.
Yeah.
The Antiochus who just lost the war now comes back into Judea and sees that his guy has been cooed, so he's pissed.
Yeah.
So
What's up with all these coups? We got pigeons here or something?
he puts his guy back on the throne, back on the priesthood, and essentially just outlaws Hebrew shit. Like completely.
Basically like
It's
bans
over.
the religion.
Well, it
And
sounds
this-
like it was causing some problems outright anyway.
This
So,
is the breaking point.
makes sense.
For
Matthias?
Matthias. How do you say it? Is it Matadias, Matthias?
I would say Matthias.
Matthias.
I would say
So
Matthias.
he is, in the movie, they make him the high priest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is not. He is a priest out in like a small town outside of Jerusalem.
Oh, he's not like a king.
He's
No.
like a religious fanatic.
He is a hardcore Orthodox.
should we dive into the movie?
Yeah,
and
let's
then-
talk.
all
Let's
right.
talk
Well, yeah, because now this is when it starts,
Yeah.
basically.
So the movie is like Jerusalem, 150 years before Christ.
Yeah.
They worship at the Citadel. And it's like Atticus the Syrian, rules over
Antiochus.
and Antiochus the Syrian.
Good job, Brian. You said a Greek name.
Yeah. That was not too bad.
he can learn.
He can reason. So Antiochus is the Syrian ruling over the Israelites. And right away we get the bad Italian dubs.
Right away,
Yes.
we also get handheld camera stuff. It looks like it's with like a handheld camera.
And the dubs are Godzilla level.
Yeah.
Well, that was
they're bad.
Italian filmmaking, especially back then, and even in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
It's so much more reasonable than that, it seems like, though, like those spaghetti westerns.
Well, I think by that point they've learned a bit more.
Yeah.
But
a year after this?
all the movies are like dubbed,
Yeah.
So
Why is, like, Clint Eastwood speaking English?
so they would get like a couple of American actors and everybody else is Italian.
Yeah.
So all those people have to be dubbed, but like you'll watch some movies where every character is dubbed.
Yeah, it's weird watching something that's just completely ADR.
That's just like the Italian style of filmmaking. Like they still do it, I'm pretty sure. Like, and it looks better now.
Suspiria?
Yeah, like Suspiria. It's just kind of like that's the Italian style. So like
It's a
I know
dumb
you probably
style.
haven't seen many Italian made movies other than like the spaghetti western stuff.
Yeah.
But like when you've watched like a couple of giallos and things like that, it's like, you get more accustomed to it. So for me, it was,
Okay.
I expected this, I was like, oh, there's the Italian bad dubs.
Right.
Right.
But I think most
it's a
people who don't know that, if you go into this blind, it really hurts. Like it's a pain to get through. It's very
It's
weird.
definitely mockable, Like,
yeah, but
So Apollonius, who is the new governor of Jerusalem, real guy.
Yeah.
did you do the same joke when you heard that name like instantly?
What joke is that?
Apollonia.
What is that?
From fucking History of the World. Make his dickhead so hard.
Oh,
I kept saying it.
Is that the Empress?
It's yes.
Madeline Kahn?
Yes. It's Apollonia. And I kept saying it every time I heard his name. You're good.
No, I did not. That's
okay.
funny. That's
Well,
a good reference.
So a Syrian shows up to talk to a blacksmith, and then it's revealed that this is
Judas.
Judas.
Is that the most hated name?
Why is he Judas and not Judah?
So
Don't know.
that's what I was wondering too throughout this, because I always know him as Judah Maccabee.
Yes.
Yes.
But I think that may be
Judah Ben-Hur.
Judah Ben-Hur, but I think it may be an Americanization maybe of the name, because Judas has such negative connotations that in modern tellings of the story, they change his name from Judas to Judah.
I have never heard it as Judas before.
If
I
you
think
look
this
on
is just a
Wikipedia,
confused
if you look
Italian
on
thing.
Wikipedia, it's Judas Maccabee.
Okay. Well, we should say this. His name is not Maccabee. That's an honorific given to him. Maccabee means hammer.
Yeah, that becomes their last name.
Eventually.
The whole Maccabee family.
Right.
And I will tell you, interestingly enough, my grandmother's maiden name. Oh, I'm going to get doxxed. I'm giving away my password information. What is your grandmother's maiden name?
Not your mother's maiden, your grandmother's
My grandmother's maiden name.
That's deep.
I got your
Yeah.
number.
No, her is Hammer.
Oh, yeah?
So, it's possible you guys may be standing before.
Shit, we've been talking to royalty.
That would be two of my friends
I'm
are
just
royalty.
saying, I may be a distant relative
Right.
of Judah Maccabee.
Right.
So you have, great heroic lineage before
Yes,
you.
Clearly.
Mm.
You really embody all your
Judah
all
would be
your
proud.
aesthetics are just
Judah would
wow.
be proud of your
Adonis. Look, one person leads a rebellion rising, the other starts the
other just
third-rate
kind of
podcast.
watches it. Watches it happen.
Yeah, so he's got a secret underground resistance movement.
Yes.
Judas, yeah, which is just. Is that the most hated name, or is Hitler more hated?
Well, now Hitler, I think, right?
You think so?
That's a
I don't
weird
know.
Question.
I don't know, because you
Well,
associate with people if you're Hitler, you're evil. If you're Judas, you're evil.
Who's
you know
got
what
more
I mean?
fans?
Hitler.
That's
Hitler
a
has
great-
more fans.
Honestly, that's a great point. So it's probably Judas
It's probably
is probably
Judas,
the most
yeah.
hated name ever.
I mean, Judas is in the final layer of
Yeah,
hell with
yeah.
Brutus.
Yeah.
Well, that's where traders go. It's
Right,
specifically
yeah,
for
yeah.
traders.
Yes.
Yeah. So
So yes, he's like, get out of my
Hey,
way.
Judas,
And the
don't
blacksmith is
turn
just
on
like
Christ.
the blacksmith's off to the side, not in his way. And Judas is like a Chad looking dude. Like he's
Yeah,
like
he's
buff and
he
rugged.
is a Heston clone.
Yeah.
Like they decided, how do we make a guy look exactly like Charlton Heston?
I thought Simon was the Heston.
You're right. You're actually right.
Yeah.
Well,
Judas is just like a stud guy.
Yeah.
in the American names, they give people in the version we watch, they don't use the actors' real names and they give them fake American names.
Really?
And one of them is John Heston, right? Which I'm pretty sure is the guy playing Simon.
Oh god.
And then someone else is like Charlton Stevens.
Oh, it's
And
amazing.
the point of that is to trick
Trick people
people that
Yeah.
are like walking in the theater. There's no internet. They see the Old Testament.
with
It's like going to
Heston.
And
see
you
Kiss
put
and,
Heston.
and Tommy Thayer's dressed
Yeah.
up as Ace Frehley. It's so if you don't know any better.
You
Yeah,
only put
exactly.
the last names.
It says Heston.
Yeah,
You're
you're
like,
like, oh, I gotta
I'll
see
go
this.
see Heston.
Speaking of, how was the show? You went to The Last Kiss?
It's fucking great.
I know
man.
we're on a roll, but I'm going to derail it right now. I
Yeah.
want to hear about the show.
Pretty standard Kiss show.
That's disappointing.
Tonight is the last show.
Mhm.
Is it?
And you'll be at that as well.
I will
is
be
it?
as that as well. Yeah, I'm actually meeting up with a listener.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm pretty
Enjoy.
excited.
Mm.
But good show, good time.
Ace and Peter didn't come
Ace
out.
and Peter did not come out for that one. I have my fingers crossed for tonight.
You're an ass
We'll
if you think they
follow up.
are.
I hope so.
They're not.
Ace's managers were at the Kiss show yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
So what?
Ace was on Eddie Trunk yesterday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. What
So
do you
he's
say?
in town.
Yeah.
All right, maybe. You might get lucky until he fucks up the guitar solo and can't really stand.
If maybe they'll just come out and he'll do a wave or
Mm.
something.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But anyway, so it was a pretty standard Kiss show. The only thing that was different was they played Making Love, which was a nice surprise.
That's cool.
I was like, fuck yeah, Making Love.
I just hate when the girl says,
wait,
what?
That song's awesome. So that was a nice surprise. But
That's cool.
I have my fingers crossed that I'll see the OGs tonight.
Yeah.
All right.
I hope that happens. Thank you, Anthony, for
derailing the show. Okay.
That was worse than derail. You switched the track and then derailed that
Who wants to talk about this movie?
I don't.
Yeah.
Then we get the next really confusing thing.
All right. So Apollonius.
There's menorahs everywhere.
Yeah.
Why are there menorahs everywhere?
It's a symbol of Jewish faith.
But wasn't that after?
No. It was just a thing.
The menorah just happens to be a thing, and we'll go into more detail about the Hanukkah element of this because they gloss over the
It's not in the movie.
It's not in the movie.
Yeah.
It's like they have the before and the after of the events of Hanukkah almost.
I mean, if you were going to do this movie right, it's incredibly complicated. It's long, and it's
you could do it awesome.
Yeah, you could. It could be a movie. It'd be a 3-hour movie, epic movie with it could be amazing.
It's going to happen at some point, I think.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Because I think to really do it correctly and good, the main theme of the movie has to be your hero characters are forcibly enforcing orthodox, hardcore religion on, a public that doesn't want to do that by sword point. And that is not in step with the themes of the last 100 years, which is the time when movies got made.
But you know what?
So that's why I think there aren't a lot of movies.
I think that they would just kind of play it like they do in this movie, where you don't talk about that and you unite all the Jews under one thing.
Well, then you'd just be lying, though. It's not.
Well, you
what
lie
it is.
about one element and you change everything to tell.
Do
a
movies
broader
ever
story,
lie?
And then we come here and we tell you the truth.
Right.
That's what we're for.
We fill in those gaps.
Yeah.
No, because I always thought the menorah, obviously the menorah is completely tied with Hanukkah, but I thought that wasn't the symbol, that's going to be around everywhere. I didn't.
It's not a symbol yet. It's just
candles.
It's a thing. It's part of their culture. I don't know what its significance is at the time. It will get grand significance after this event.
Yes.
Okay. But it was already a thing that obviously has existed, that it had to be there for them to put the fucking oil in, right?
Exactly.
Right, but I thought it was I don't know, in my head it was a light that was big. It wasn't just lamps. Because they just have menorah lamps everywhere.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's just a good thing to hold lamps. And they have special ones in the temple, which we'll talk about after.
That's okay, cool.
All right. So Judas goes to the temple and talks to his father Matthias. And he's like, you can't have, violence in the temple. And Judas is a badass,
well, he wants
he's
to fight.
bloodthirsty.
Yeah, he's an ass kicker.
He wants blood.
He hears the governor's coming and he wants to attack him immediately.
Yes.
Yeah.
And his brother is the counter to that. He's like, no,
Simon.
we can be diplomats and talk this out.
Yeah, I think Simon is kind of, I think his character is completely off as far
it's
as
completely wrong.
Yeah.
All of these guys are insane zealots who want to fight immediately. All of the sons.
Yeah. They're all in line with their father.
Isn't Jonathan the other one?
Yeah.
And there's another son who got
there should be 5 of them. There's only 3 in the movie.
One gets trampled by elephants.
Yes.
At the Battle of Elias.
That's true. Yeah. Fun story about those elephants. So I remember I was talking about Seleucus earlier. So Alexander's empire incorporated parts of India. And when he takes over, he gets those parts. But the rising Chandragupta dynasty over in India,
the Chad dynasty,
will fight the Seleucids, win, and
they're Chads,
as part of the peace settlement, Seleucus will have to send his daughter to India to marry Chandragupta. And Chandragupta, in return, will send a herd of war elephants to the Seleucids that they will maintain for 100 years and keep these elephants, so that when they always have war elephants in their back pocket.
They're always ready.
Yeah. So, and they will use them against the Maccabees at one point later
in the Battle of Elias.
Yeah. See, I'd love to we saw an elephant battle in Alexander.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. We saw an elephant battle somewhat in 300.
And Lord of the Rings.
Still cool. Lord of the Rings, cool. We
I'll
need
be
more.
fine.
We need more.
More elephants.
More elephants. Bring more elephant
Yeah.
war scenes because they're awesome and they're not used enough. They're just not. And it happens all the time.
Well, Hannibal's coming out.
Listen to me, Hollywood. Oh, yeah, that's true.
I imagine though.
Unfortunately,
Unfortunately,
I
Hannibal's
imagine
coming
they'd
out.
have to use elephants for that one, right?
it's key.
You
to
would
the whole
think
Yeah,
so.
thing.
right.
You would think so. So I might get my wish,
Yeah,
but
just
at
elephant
what
warfare.
cost?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like Steve held a monkey's paw and wished for more elephants. It just curled.
The monkey paw is just this microphone.
All right. So, Simon's there. He's kind of a capo.
Capo hits Teppo.
Yeah.
Teppo hits
Capo.
Ox Mix. We can't get anything done.
So Judah promised no weapons, but no fighting, but he gives weapons to all like the Jews immediately.
We're not going to fight, but we're going to arm
Yeah, we
everyone.
got to get ready.
Yeah.
But he's like, well, let's not attack. Let's not do this.
Yeah.
So now the governor shows up.
And he's expecting like fanfare for
Yeah.
him and everybody to come out and greet him.
And they're like,
Apollonius.
Nobody shows
they're
up.
like, fuck you. And he's
Apollonius is probably one of the most hoaxy villains in anything ever.
Mwahaha. He's practically mustache.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
he is bad guy.
Yeah.
Like he has like
Even his
a
stupid
pointy
haircut. Yeah. He has like
Yeah.
three. He has a point in the middle and two to the side, and it's just like sharp. He has sharp features, even with his beard, and it's
Yeah.
like
He
goes
looks like
this.
Gene. His hair looks like Gene Simmons makeup. It has the
yeah. And Gene Simmons is the demon. So hey,
demons on top.
Yeah.
Nobody knows that. But yeah, he's there, and there's a fat guy, and the fat guy's like his second in command.
the Italian Mario. Yeah.
Yeah.
They got an Italian Mario.
Isn't Mario
just-
already the Italian Mario?
I suppose. Well, he's also Japanese.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So now we get to the part where the celluloids or the celluloid walking film. So the Syrians or the Seleucids, whatever you want to call them, they want to put a statue of Zeus in the temple and do like human sacrifices.
So this is the one scene.
This is real.
that they got right, and I like this a lot.
Yeah.
But they made what's his name, the father,
Matthias.
They made him the high priest. That's the
Yeah.
only thing that's really
Yeah.
off here. But Matthias went to the temple
Mhm.
as they tried to do this, and Apollonius gets a Hellenized Jew, a Hellenic Jew, guy who's on board with the Greek shit.
He's like, yeah, whatever. Put
to
Zeus in
bring
Yeah.
this idol into the temple, and he straight up kills him.
Yes.
The priest.
Now in this, I believe
Matthias.
he was Nathaniel.
Does he have a name?
I think so. I think
I
they
don't
said,
know.
"Oh, like Nathaniel." No.
there. Yeah. I
Matt-
don't know.
Matthias kills that guy,
Yeah.
and in the movie they just kind of drop the statue and it breaks. They make it like God did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I like in the movie.
They do a shot of just a sunset. Of a
They
sun-
used that fucking
Yeah.
sunset like 2 or 3
Yeah.
times for God's like
Well,
interference.
that's when God's interfering.
and it's so poorly done.
And when I was looking up about this, it was Matthias himself who destroyed the idol.
Yeah.
That's that takes away from a lot there.
Well, they skip over the Hanukkah miracle part of
Mhm.
it,
Yeah.
and they just have God interfere in that and the
Right.
door at the end.
Just show the
Yeah.
sun. It's good.
And then
We all knew.
a Greek guy tries to intervene, and he gets killed too.
Yep.
So now
Uh-huh.
Matthias is an outlaw, a rebel. Him and his
He's
sons,
arrested.
his 5 sons, flee into like the hinterlands. This is what really happens, not what
Yes.
happens in the movie.
Yeah, we'll talk about the movie in
Um,
a second.
They flee into the hinterlands of, and this is not in Jerusalem, by the way. It's in like this small town of the region, and they bring with them tons of followers who've had enough.
the fellow rabid zealots.
Yeah. Well, I don't
It's
even
not
wanna,
every
I don't
Jew.
even want to call them rabid zealots. It's like just Jews who care
want to
about
worship.
being
Yes.
Jewish.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is probably not the majority at the time.
No.
In fact,
Well, they
Probably
never are.
50-50 or close.
yeah. And I think in the Bible, at least, there's a lot of emphasis placed on how astray the population had gone.
As far as like
as far as their religiosity. Yeah. And this is like the restoration will be these Maccabees.
Well, it's
Um,
really funny because, if you want to talk about Christianity and Christ and all this, if let's say the Jews at this point don't, do what happens here,
There'd be no Jews today.
exactly.
There'd be no Christ.
There'd be no Christ. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, the society is completely changed.
Mhm.
This actually becomes a big pivot point for everything that's going to follow.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I know in certain Catholic teachings of this story, later we'll talk about how Rome kind of makes this real for the revolt. Like the Romans
help a
the
lot.
Romans will sign an alliance with
Yes.
Judah Maccabee and recognize
They signed
him.
they signed
Right.
2 alliances.
They will recognize him as the true king of Judea, of Israel.
Yeah.
And this makes, this is the union of Rome and the people of God.
Yes.
And this is, Catholicism.
Mhm.
So that's, people make a thing out of that.
There's actually and like Judah Maccabee, he is like he's such an important figure in like kind of just like religious like society and shit like that. Have you ever heard of the 9 worthies?
No.
So this is actually a really cool thing. You'll see a picture of it here. It's in Germany, and I'm actually kind of surprised this survived World War II. It's a 14th century carving of like the 9 most worthy heroes of
Mhm.
like all time.
One of them was Judah Maccabee.
There's 3 pagans, 3 Christians, and 3 Jews.
Hebrews.
Yeah, and you
Interesting.
got for the pagans. Can you guess the 3 most important pagans?
Julius Caesar.
1.
Alexander.
Come on, this is a layup. This one. Yep.
Mhm.
This next one is, we actually have spoken about this one, but it is a hard pull.
Is it Cyrus?
No. You want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Hector.
Ah. Oh, yeah, I should have guessed
Yeah.
that.
Can you name the 3 Jews?
3 Jews. All right, so we know it's Judah Maccabee.
Yep.
Moses?
No. These are heroes. Like,
Warriors.
Mhm.
heroic figures, I guess.
Okay. David?
David, boom. There's a Richard Gere movie about him, by the way.
What?
Yeah, we got to do that. It has like an 8% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's going to be a pile of shit.
God damn it.
Got to do it at some point, though.
Joshua?
Joshua. So those are the 3 Jews
Okay.
and the 3
very good.
Christians.
3 Christians.
One is fictional, and it's kind of like, what the fuck are you doing there?
Okay. Charlemagne.
Boom, 1.
Mhm.
And this is Germany, so I gotta.
And
I gotta
this
remember
next
that.
guy I've never heard of.
Maybe.
Maybe you have. He started he was the leader of the first crusade.
Oh my God. When you say it, I'll know it.
You want me to tell you?
Yeah, tell me.
Godfrey of
Bouillon.
Bouillon. Yeah.
Yeah.
And number 1 is King Arthur.
Oh. Okay.
But it's like he's not a real guy. But the carving is really cool.
Yeah.
So like he's that important of a figure.
Mhm, that he made it on.
He made it on there.
Exactly.
Can we add a 10th to that,
Me?
just in general?
Oh.
Brian.
No, not you. I was going to say Heston, but you
Oh,
can do you.
Heston.
if you-
Yeah. I want him with the rifle though.
If you had to add a 10th, there's some good Americans that can go on there.
Well, no, because it
Washington.
has to be a righteous Christian, right? It's not.
Washington.
But he's not a.
He's good enough.
His religiosity is in doubt, if anything.
What do you think?
What?
Who would you add?
Me?
Yeah, you could add a 10th person. Who would you add?
I just said Washington.
You would add Washington?
Okay, so you would have to have 3. Let's say 3 seculars.
3 seculars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who would they be? Washington.
Washington's
Fine,
got to
I'll
go on there.
I'll take him.
Yeah.
Fuck, this is hard.
TR?
Can I do Patton? That counts. He's religious, right? I'm doing Patton. Fuck you.
Patton is like a secular guy. Fuck. We need another hero.
Yeah.
Oh, Grant.
Grant? They're all Americans?
Yeah, obviously.
Obviously.
How about Napoleon? Can we put him on?
Yeah.
Eh.
Yeah.
The other guys didn't lose.
Yeah, you got to be like, undefeated.
All right, okay. Fine.
But so we get to the movie and all the Jews abandon.
Yeah, they just
Where
leave.
they are.
But
Well, where are they? They're in Jerusalem in the movie, right?
In the movie, there's a giant riot.
there's a riot,
Yeah,
and
that's right. There's like a battle.
They corner the Syrian
In like a house.
convoy or envoy in a house, and I guess they're waiting for their army to get there.
Yeah.
So the Jews like burn some stuff in front of the doorway, and they're like they won't be able to get out for a while, and that lets them go escape to safety to Jaffa. I think they're going to.
Yeah.
No.
Jaffa.
So Jaffa is a fortress.
They're going to like 3 different locations.
Yeah. Well, they should be going out into like the hills.
They're like in
some
the
of them do.
movie. In the movie, they're basically like we're preparing to wander the desert again for 40 years.
Well, no, they're like the reinforcements are going to come from the north, so we need to be ready for them. So they leave town.
Exactly.
The civilians get out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like they go to different ways because the parents are saying like, oh, we're gonna go here. Then the brother goes to another place to fight. So like,
what do you think of the battle?
Up.
It's terrible.
What battle? What battles? It's horse riding and like 12 guys pretending they're fighting.
Everyone's on a horse, by the way.
Yeah.
Like there's so many.
They have so many horses.
Yeah.
That
would not have been the case on either side.
Yeah. There was no cavalry here.
They're trying to make it dynamic on a low budget. Give them a break.
I'm not gonna. I watched horses trampling over people in the desert.
The Greeks should be forming phalanxes.
Yeah.
Like, no.
This never happens.
Right.
Not to mention the Syrian armor looks like something out of like Star Wars.
They have giant helmets.
They're like the Easterlings from Lord of the Rings.
Yes. They have like really intricate like body armor and like cloaks. And
all these costumes are left over from like other shit.
Yeah.
It had to be,
grabbed.
Plus, I don't know if Syrian battle, like, first off, they weren't Syrian, but like, they're all in white cloths.
Yeah.
And I don't think they'd have that.
I think they're just trying to make it look Middle Eastern and foreign.
Yeah. It's like they had an idea about what they should
differentiate
make, but
the
they couldn't do
Jews
it.
From the Persians.
Exactly.
Yes. And they did a good job of that, I guess, but, you know.
Oh yeah, I love what he prays to the save us, God of Abraham. Yeah. the lightning bolt strikes the statue. Yeah,
there's a lightning bolt.
It flashes on the screen for like a second.
The main lightning bolt hits the gates later on.
That
we're gonna talk about later on because that was fantastic. But
that is awesome though.
There's a lot we got to go into here.
So. Now we get where are we? So Judah basically they're like we're the leader. Judah's the leader now. And in real life, he kind of becomes the leader of this rebellion.
And Simon tries to stop him in the movie.
And this isn't in the movie.
That's not,
but we got to talk about what he accomplishes when they get the temple back.
Yeah, when we get there.
Well, it would be now kind of because when he's the leader, he starts battling and stuff, and they brush over it.
The first thing that the Maccabees start doing, and now I'm calling them the Maccabees. This is the rebels. These are the guys in the hills. They set up camp out there in the wilderness, and what they'll do is they'll run into these Jewish towns and kill people. They'll force circumcise people. They're attacking their brethren who have in their mind
they're like ISIS
abandoned. God.
They're like ISIS, basically.
Yeah, they're doing raids.
Yeah.
And that's what I said. Like, you can't, if you're going to do this story honestly,
it's going to be brutal.
It's going to include this shit, and that would make them very unpopular.
Which is why you can't do it honestly. You got to polish it. You got to tell the Rugrats version of the story.
They did it the best.
Yeah, they end up like going into towns, destroying altars. They do forced circumcision. And essentially, they make it very clear to everyone that the purpose of this rebellion is to purge Greekness from the land.
We're Jews for Judaism.
Yes. And they have this battle, which I guess it's kind of in the movie, but it doesn't.
No, it's not, because that battle would actually be later.
Because right here,
because spoilers for the movie,
Apollonius dies right now.
In real life, Apollonius dies.
Yeah.
Then it kind of basically what happens is there's kind of a civil war amongst the seculoids.
Yeah.
And they have Seleucids. They have like kind of a civil war fighting for power.
Yes.
And this gives Judah the opportunity now to go in and retake Jerusalem.
Well,
right?
Hang on. So they have this battle.
And this isn't in the movie.
The Maccabees lead Apollonius into the hills, him and his army, into like narrow passageways in the mountains.
Great for surprise attack.
They 300 him.
They can't form their phalanxes.
Yep.
And
they get
overwhelmingly outnumbered Maccabee force destroys the Greek force. They kill Apollonius. He's dead. This brings down the wrath of a guy named oh my God, it starts with an N. Oh, Lysias. Lysias is now the new governor. And Lysias is a power player in the capital of the Seleucid Empire. And Antiochus IV, who is the emperor, dies.
Yep.
He is replaced by his 10-year-old son.
Bad move.
Lysias, who at this point has been leading a long war against these Maccabees. He's trying to fight them.
Yeah.
And they're doing like raids and guerrilla shit. And he's brought them to battle like once. But after this battle, I think it's Beth Zur. I think it's called this battle.
Oh, yeah, I believe it is.
So the Beth Zur is like this town that the Seleucids are in, and the Maccabees are besieging it, but they don't have enough men to actually do anything. So they have like these. It's like a long skirmish.
Yeah,
right?
skirmishes.
But Lysias, after the 10-year-old kid gets crowned emperor, Lysias realizes that he can be very influential if he returns to the capital and takes over this.
Just boots the kid out of the.
Or but just run the government for him.
That's booting out the kid. Yeah.
So he goes home and ends the campaign. The Maccabees.
I'm sorry. It was the Battle of Emmaus.
Yeah. Emmaus.
Emmaus. Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. Beth Zur's later.
Yeah.
So the Maccabees retake Jerusalem.
Yep. And when they get there, well, you have to remember the whole temple has been defiled and desecrated. There's pig's blood. It's not what they left it. So they have to reconsecrate it. And they reconsecrate, but one of the things that they need is they need the menorah to light. And this is where the miracle of Hanukkah comes in.
They only got the oil for one day.
For one night.
And this is why I got confused.
This is also when they contact the Romans.
This is why I got confused, because you say specifically, this is why they have to light the menorah. So in my head, I'm thinking there's one menorah in the temple. It's probably a big candle, like almost like a, you're right. But in this movie, there's a bunch of small ones. So it's very confusing.
They
like, wait a minute. Like, why is that? Why are there a bunch of small ones?
This is just theory now. I think this is a movie about, it's called the Old Testament for a reason. Not the Torah.
Exactly.
This is a Christian movie. So they're not focusing on the menorah and the reconsecration of the temple for whatever reason.
Well, they're Italians. They kind of don't care about
They kind of don't care about it. So they're not making Hanukkah. They're not making this the Hanukkah story.
Right.
They're making a Maccabee war movie.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which you could totally do, but I feel like this is such an important piece of the thing to put in.
Yeah.
So maybe people don't know the story of Hanukkah. They get the temple. They want to reconsecrate it for Judaism. They re-kosherize it, and they require the menorah to burn for one night.
No, for 8 nights.
For 8. Well, they need the menorah to be lit.
8 nights, but they only have enough oil.
They only have enough for one.
Yes.
And the miracle of Hanukkah is that the oil lasted 8 nights.
Yeah. Right.
And in that time, they're able to get more oil. And they're like, wow.
It's supposed to be like lit all the time.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And basically it's like God essentially wants us to have this temple because it's stayed lit.
Yeah.
And it's a symbol of God wanting
God's
the Hebrews to be in there.
Yes.
So in that time, they're able to get more oil and the candle stays lit, and they have Jerusalem now.
Yeah.
And now they contact Rome and they make their first pact.
And
which really doesn't materialize in anything other than kind of a token word thing.
Well, it's the great power recognizing the sovereignty of the Hebrew nation.
The second one, though, is way more impactful as far as like fighting and
they'll get aid.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this is all, if we're going far enough down the line, this is all going to end with the Romans conquering the place.
Exactly.
And if you go even further than that, the Romans are going to be the ones that destroyed this temple. They burn it down.
Yeah.
And scatter the Hebrews into the 4 corners of the earth, essentially.
And you get, and you get Jesus.
And you get Jesus.
The best Jew of them all.
He's before that.
Hey, I take offense to that.
Second best Jew of all.
So.
And then you get the Talmud, which.
We know how that turned out.
Yeah.
Talmud is really taken out of context if you look into it.
Well, I mean, if I would say that it's kind of the rebirth of it's the birth of modern Judaism for sure.
Well, the Talmud, honestly, most sects of Judaism don't even follow it. It's really just the super Orthodox that do. And what the Talmud actually is it's a series of debates, of recorded debates.
It's like an answer to Christianity.
It's not just that. It's Jews debating about shit. Like if you actually like read it, it's different. It's Jews arguing about stuff and stating their points of views on things.
Right.
Where it's like, it's easy to take something out of context from there.
It's an ancient podcast.
Like, it's not kind of, yeah. It's like you have Jew 1 saying something and you have Jew 2 saying something. And, you know, if Jew 2 says something more incendiary, you know, someone could take that quote. It's really not like
I'm
this,
not even talking about that. I'm just saying it's a holy book.
Not
for certain.
I don't think it's holy. You know, most sects of Judaism don't follow it or like pay it really any mind.
They see it more as like a historical document rather than a holy document.
It's more of a, like, for most Jews, all but like one sect of Judaism, it's basically
the hockey puck guys.
living
in Brooklyn wearing their hockey pucks.
Yeah, them. Those are the guys that actually follow the Talmud. Most Jews, it's actually not in like the religion, like Reform. There's a whole bunch that don't. The Sephardic, most of the Orthodox don't.
Well, there's that being said, there's obviously different sects of Judaism that believe different things, and a lot of them, relating back to this story, don't actually recognize the finality. Like the way this all turns out, spoiler alert, is the Maccabees form a dynasty.
Yes,
and there's a new kingdom. And
the Hamadius.
Some of these sects, yeah, there's a name for it. Some of these sects like see them as illegitimate. I think the Pharisees are one of them.
The Jews, like, we hate ourselves and we hate each other. And even when we have shit going like
your way,
it's like we're still not happy and we have to bitch and kvetch about it. It's like we win, we get the kingdom back, and you have some people being like, this is illegitimate. It shouldn't happen this way. It's like fucking, yeah, I don't get that. It's like, I don't see how it could be illegitimate, but you know, it's fucking, we're a weird, annoying people.
You're the
where are we
worst
at with
Jew
the
ever.
film?
Don't support your people at all.
I do support them. All right.
So the Syrians go to. Well, first we see that Simon gets hit with the arrow. He's alive. He's being taken care of.
In the riot.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's being taken care of by that woman.
The Syrian chick.
I have her name. She's
very hot.
She looks like Elizabeth Taylor.
Yes.
Some Sicilian broad.
She also looks like the woman. They try to make her look like she's in El Cid. They actually do the same exact shot at one point.
I know.
Which I can't wait to get into. What's her name? Something like
Misa?
Diatoma is her name. They're taking care of her, and I think Jonathan's taking care of him as well. And he's just like, Judas, don't do it. Don't do it. And now the Syrians go to burn down the town. And now we get the hoaxy villain trope, which I get it. They kill an old man for no reason.
They're just like,
we're going to ask your wife where the evil guys are. And he's like, no, please, she's blind and sick and deaf. And they just burn her alive while maniacally laughing. And it's like, this is just so nonsensical.
You know what's funny?
Wait till you see it, what a man can do to another man.
You know what's funny?
Or a blind woman.
I have so much of an easier time accepting random acts of brutality when you're in like old biblical times than I do when you're in like the 1700s. You know,
because you just see it as more violent,
more barbaric.
I just see like
it's law.
It's way more reasonable.
Terror shall be the order of the day.
It's way more reasonable to me. Like if you compare this burning scene to the Patriot, like it's way more reasonable to me that these people would burn.
Well, the people doing the burning are supposed to be civilized people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose.
I get it.
You know, and it's like in the Patriot, they're like
here we have pagan idolaters doing their burning, and it's
it
like,
makes
all
sense,
right, well, they would do
this. This is what would happen. Yeah, probably worse, and they do worse later on.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm glad they did that, but
You're glad they did that. They burned that old lady.
No, I'm
She
glad
had
they
it coming.
I'm glad they put it.
She's blind. She didn't have much of a life to live.
I'm glad they put the violence in the movie. The terror violence that
I suppose
was happening.
It's
You know,
so
it's
stupid.
so over the top, but it at least gave me something to be like, oh, at least there's some kind of thing in this.
It was right around this
film.
point in the movie that I started having various phone calls from lawyers and mortgage people. And
Oh,
I
Jews. They knew you were watching.
They sensed it. They're like,
We wanted to know what you thought of the movie. So, Anthony, what do you think of the movie?
So my memory of everything that happens beyond this point is quite vague. So you guys are gonna have to.
we got you.
Okay. It was like, I don't give a shit about this movie. I'm just going to talk on the phone as it's in the background.
Yep.
And there's a lot left.
I know.
All right. So Jude is now the leader. Syrians are like planning like terror things.
Yeah.
They're doing all sorts of bad
Cavalry
shit.
is chasing the caravan.
Yeah. So now we can.
They just want all the
Apollonius
gold.
wants to do genocide, right?
Yeah, and he wants gold.
It
It just makes no sense.
Yeah, he wants tribute from the Jews. Like they have a plan. They have they come up with a scheme where they're like, we'll just take money from the Jews. Like
We want
they'll trick them.
We want 3,000 shekels.
Yeah.
I hate shekels.
It's such a bad word. You could have come up with something cool, better for
What
that.
about Shrekels? And it's coins with
Coins with
Shrek.
Captain
Yeah,
Kirk on
no,
them?
Shrek.
Oh,
Shrek.
Shrekels.
I'm completely
I thought you
okay
said
with that.
Shrekels.
Shrekels.
I'm completely okay with that. Simon wants to do a treaty with that. With
Simon is
Apollonius.
desperate in this to just be like a fucking cuck.
Yeah.
he wants peace.
He wants to take the high road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I
They
realize.
send the fat guy to Jaffa.
Yes.
And yeah,
that
now
pays off later.
Now we get some wonderful camera angles and great staging from the actors because they're completely off film at points. They're just off to the side and there's just a blank screen of like a hallway. And you're like, what's going on? And then somebody will walk in frame.
I should say this. We were talking
It's
about.
so bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
It's poorly made. That's for sure. But we were talking earlier about how the Hebrews have retaken Jerusalem by this point.
Yes.
Yeah.
This did not happen in the film.
No, they
No.
never get Jerusalem.
Yeah, right.
No.
It's very weird. Like, and that's like where the Hanukkah story comes in, which, I thought that would be the climax to the movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then when it doesn't happen in the end, I'm like, well, it does happen in
And
the
then
end.
they kill off Judah.
They
Well,
kill off
Judah
most
does die.
people.
He does die in battle after
they get
after he's
Jerusalem.
become king.
Which is what that was. So when I was watching this, I saw Judah die, right, in
Yeah.
the movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, he gets Jerusalem. I was like, what is this movie doing?
Mm-hmm.
And then, I looked it up. And after Jerusalem, I never looked up what happens after they get Jerusalem.
Oh.
I never really thought to look it up.
Well, the fight continues. The
the
war's
fight
not over.
continues.
Yeah.
Exactly. I didn't realize that.
They make Jonathan the high priest.
In real life.
In real life.
Yep.
In the movie, he becomes like the warrior. Simon, he gets killed in battle too, eventually. And then the movie, the real story ends. Well, ends, but I say ends, but history continues. Obviously,
Yes.
with
Simon-
Simon finally having a stable
Kingdom.
and it's due in big part because the Parthians, who are a steppe tribe people, like the Huns or the
Yeah.
Mongols or something out in the fucking Far East, come down and invade the Seleucid Empire in the East. And this is a way bigger threat than any Hebrew rebellion going on in Judea. So the Seleucids are forced to move
Exactly.
out of the region.
And the
Yeah.
Jews basically let them go. They don't
Yes.
attack them as they're
Right,
leaving. Like,
yeah.
just
Well, they're
get
getting
the
their
fuck out.
home.
They get
They're
a
getting their home.
Yeah.
right? The Seleucid Empire, when this is all said and done, collapses. They also have problems in the north from the Pontus, which is like modern day Turkey. All these different outside forces are invading them at the same time, and the empire
They can't
the
deal with
empire
it.
falls apart.
And then shortly after that,
Right.
you have Persians come in.
Well, the region is replaced by the Parthians.
I meant after them.
That's what I'm saying. The Parthians take over everything, and now Persia is the Parthian Empire,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
and that will last
Forever.
hundreds of
Yeah.
years.
Gotcha.
And then Rome comes.
Exactly. It's like the Jewish kingdom. Like, so at the end of this, they have
It
their
doesn't
kingdom.
last a long time.
It's
No.
maybe 50 years before the Romans
Yeah.
conquer them.
King Herod.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's the big, guy.
Yeah. But
In this
you know,
movie.
we're getting. If you think of it, this movie has a countdown. Like the timeline of the movie has a countdown clock to Jesus.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's like the Jews getting everything back. They're holding it. Rome's going to come in, and then we're going to get the birth.
And you
of
get
Christ.
the census and the nativity and
Exactly.
the story, a Christmas story everybody knows.
Yes.
In this
It's
movie,
the prequel.
This is the prequel. Yeah.
Hanukkah is the prequel to Christmas.
in this movie, Apollonius is like, we need Jewish slaves. Let's set up a nice festival, which is just a gay thirst trap. They set up a gay thirst trap. It's just a bunch of half-naked dudes flipping and jumping around.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then they're like, all the Jews come out to see this festival of like treaty.
Gayness.
Do you
and
think?
gayness,
Do you
and then
think?
just capture all of them and
But do you think that
enslave
was
them.
a reference to what Ant was talking about with the gymnasium?
Maybe.
That's what I was about
But
to
they can't
wonder.
show the floppy dick.
Yeah.
Like imagine if the movie just had like a bunch of close-ups of different cocks. Like that guy's not cut. Or, oh no, sorry, that guy is cut. That's a Jew. You know?
And this is when
Dick, check in.
Simon's like, hey, I'm a Jew. You can enslave me. And he goes to be a slave. And the Jews are like, fuck him. He's not a Jew.
Traitor.
And he kicks him out. So he's hated by both sides.
Mm.
Yeah, nobody likes Simon.
Which,
Alvin was always a little mean to Simon, I thought.
he was. Yeah.
And Theodore.
Yeah,
Did you like the Christmas song like from Chickmunks?
I do.
You do?
Like the hula hoop.
Because I know
Yeah.
you're a big Christmas song guy.
I like that song.
You can listen to it still? I can't listen to it.
I can listen to it
Can
right
you?
now.
Do you like it?
Duh.
Okay, Theodore.
Horrible.
Okay, thank you. You need help. You're a problem. You have a serious problem.
Well, if you have a problem, what you could do is use BetterHelp.
This is the segue. It keeps going right into this.
You could use BetterHelp. You could use our promo code down in the comments and get the BetterHelp you need. You could talk to a licensed online therapist today. Get the help you need. You don't have to leave. It's the comfort of your own home. A licensed therapist to hear and help you with your issues. Maybe you love Christmas songs too much. Maybe that's all you will
Maybe
listen
you're
to.
a self-hating Jew.
Maybe you might be. It could work you through that stuff.
Maybe you have a problem with not being the best Jew of all, Jesus Christ. You need.
Then you could go to betterhelp.com and talk to a licensed online therapist today from the comfort of your own home on your time.
Right.
Use our promo code. You get a discount.
You might as well.
It's cheap.
Yeah.
It is cheaper than
Accessible.
any therapist you could get, and it's accessible from the comfort of your own
Now,
home.
how could you make a claim like that?
What do you mean?
Have you priced out all the therapists?
I actually have. I looked up the price of every therapist in the country.
Wow. And BetterHelp is
internationally.
the best deal.
It is
Look
the
at you
best
go.
deal.
Okay.
Honestly, so when you sign up, you pay not a big price, but the price you pay is for 4 sessions.
So it's a
And
bulk price.
It's a
first.
bulk price. But when you the
Are you
sessions,
getting therapy?
no. I actually,
Why not?
I'll tell you guys this. I'm mentally stable and healthy, and everything is great. I don't need help.
Uh-huh.
But if I did, I would use BetterHelp. But I did go through the sign-up process to see what it was like,
Right.
just because I thought I should kind of know.
Because you're
What you're selling, yeah.
promoting.
Because
it.
I'm
You're not
promoting
You're
it,
not a
yeah.
snake salesman.
So yeah, I did do the sign-up process fully. I did everything but talk to the therapist. You can, I know this is like part of the ad, but this is true. You can actually pick, like if you want to talk to a religious person, you could
Mhm.
pick a religious person.
Right.
You can kind of customize it
Customize
to
your
the person
therapist.
that you want to talk to.
Mm.
Mhm.
I, was just randomly clicking shit just to go through it, but
Can we sign up as therapists?
like
We could be the person that they pick. Like,
That would be malpractice.
yes.
well,
I'm there.
you know.
Have you ever thought about listening to a podcast? One
That's all
about
we do.
comedy and history.
That's all
we
we
just
do.
use it to pitch the show. We slowly build like a cult.
I watched the first episode of this documentary on HBO called Mother God. Do you know about this?
No, hold on 1 second. So go to betterhelp.com. Well, because I want to talk about it. So go to betterhelp.com.
Shut the fuck up, man.
I just want to finish the ad. So go to betterhelp.com, click our code down in the comments, and there you go. Betterhelp.com. All right, what's up?
Do you know about Mother God?
No, it isn't.
Okay, you made it seem like you had a vested interest.
Well, now I can ask you about it. It's just weird in the middle of the ad.
It's apparently I didn't finish it yet. I just watched the first. It's a 3-parter. It's about this woman out in Colorado who started a cult over the internet, and people like started to go to her.
Is she hot?
Yes.
All right. I'm starting to understand it.
It's like new agey, holistic hippie shit, but mixed in with QAnon and fucking.
Do they exist still?
Well, the documentary begins with showing her mummified corpse.
Damn it.
That her followers had been keeping like wrapped up in blankets in this house and worshiping it.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So I don't know how it gets to that.
You got me hooked when it starts with a mummified corpse.
But I recommend it. It was really interesting.
Okay,
and you
I'll
see
check
some
that out.
fucking weird people.
Yeah. And this is modern, right?
Just came out, brand new.
But no, this is like a modern
It's a modern cult.
Oh yeah, it started in like
it's QAnon.
It started in like 2016.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
So this is going to be like a MAGA-based cult around a hot chick.
I say they were just talking. They were promoting like Q shit in the thing. I don't know if it gets hardcore into MAGA stuff, but it's interesting.
I can get behind both of those. That's a good cult to be part of.
Yeah. And they're just junkies.
Yeah. All right.
So, Apollonius wants to get the rebels.
Yeah.
He's like, we gotta send them out into the desert, and
we gotta smoke them out of their caves.
And he kind of does, right? Simon leaves because he's being hunted by the Syrians. Yep.
And now Matthias dies.
The father.
Yeah, apparently. Okay.
He just standing and dies.
Yeah.
He's not even crucified.
He just stands up and is like, I am dying.
Yes. It's like, Father, no. And then it starts to rain, and they're like, the rain. Like, apparently there was a drought. It was never mentioned that there was a drought.
Yeah.
At all.
Well, it's just rare, you know?
I guess.
I don't know.
Is it?
I just think they worship the desert rain because they're Iced Earth fans.
Right.
Yeah, desert rain.
It's calling me to rock.
Killing my father.
The serpent rides with me.
Well, I think that was Tears from the Heavens.
The serpent rides.
Well, because the father died.
Oh, that was the son died. That was fucking Eric Clapton threw his kid out a window.
He fell like 4 stories or something. Or
Wait,
something
what?
like that.
Yeah.
Tears in Heaven?
Tears in Heaven. That's Eric Clapton.
Don't you know my name?
His son fell out a window and he wrote a song about it.
Yeah, it's a very sad song.
You didn't know this?
No.
You
it's
brought it up.
Really sad.
I was just referencing like Tears from the Sky. I honestly thought I was referencing your old band song.
That's Blood from the Heavens.
Blood from the Heavens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, that's different.
In my head, it was Tears.
Which is just a ripoff of Raining Blood.
From a lasso in the sky. Yours wasn't from a lasso, it was from a cloud.
Not a lasso, a lacerated sky.
A lacerated sky.
A lasso.
A lasso.
Steve thought it was about like a magical cow.
Yeah, it's a cowboy. It's a
roping and wrangling.
An evil cowboy.
Riding the steers. He thought Raining Blood was REIGN, like raining in a horse.
Yeehaw!
Raining blood.
So
throw a lasso in the sky.
A lasso in the sky.
What a great misheard. That's brain level of misheard lyrics.
Great. Oh, I thought that for years. I thought it said lasso.
Yeah, until 5
seconds ago.
You've been listening to this song for 20 years, like a fucking asshole.
Tell him about the Working Man.
Working Man?
Brian, Working Man by Rush? It's like one of their biggest songs.
I'm not a huge Rush fan, but continue.
Brian has lyrics that he thinks they say.
And it's not.
Brian.
These are the lyrics to the song, and no one can tell me otherwise.
Okay.
My lyrics make way more sense.
They do, actually.
Yeah. Working hard to pay those bills. Yeah, they call me the working man.
That sounds legit. What are the lyrics?
Lock it
up for 7 years. I'll go to work at night. Spent my work too hard. What is it?
These sound like 2 different songs. These sound like two different songs.
Yeah, but every time it comes on, Brian just goes, working hard
To pay my bill, and it's not.
Yeah, they
It's
call
not
me
even-
the working
So,
man.
so this is the real lyrics. Well, I get up at 7, and I go to work at 9. I got no time for living. Yes, I'm working all the time.
That is
Seems to
so-
me I can live my life.
That's not even the same words.
Not better than
My lyrics are better.
That doesn't even sound the same.
My lyrics are better, which are working hard to pay those bills. Yeah, they call me the working man. It fits if you play the song, I'm telling you.
Oh man. Well, we derailed again.
Get him loves Rush.
Yeah.
We derailed again. Back on the train. So
So the Syrians, they're
Right.
torturing, they're being brutal and shit.
Apollonius loses his pants.
Yeah.
He has no pants on. He has full body armor with no pants.
So the Syrians come and attack the
Makes
Jews
no
in the
sense.
mountains.
Yes.
And I
They
think
kill Judah
this is supposed to be the battle of
and Mora.
Emes, whatever,
Yeah.
which is when the Jews win. In the movie, they kind of lose.
Well, they lose Judah.
Yeah.
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 Which obviously we've discussed, he makes it to Jerusalem.
Yeah.
And now Judas is dead, and I have a bunch of question marks in my book as I was reading.
Like, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, why is Judas dead? He has to get to Jerusalem.
And become the king.
Right.
So Hanukkah could happen. Yeah. So Simon is in charge now.
Well, no, they put Jonathan
Well,
in charge.
Judah, as he's dying, goes, Simon, you're in charge.
Yes.
And then Simon's immediately like, Jonathan.
I ain't doing this.
That's what happens.
Yeah,
They all
right?
hate him in the movie anyway.
Yeah. So he can't. He can't leave them yet.
Everybody hates me, Judah.
Nobody hates you, Simon. You just keep fucking up.
You just keep aligning with
It's our enemy.
Stop being a capo.
So they want an alliance with the Arabs to attack Jaffa.
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 Jaffa is a coastal fort.
It's where the Syrians are getting their
Yes.
It's a
resources
supply
from.
line.
It's
They
a
want to cut the
line.
supply line.
Richard
And
the Lionheart.
It's ran by the
famously
Italian
besieged it.
Mario, right?
What?
It's ran by the Italian Mario,
Oh, fat guy.
who is
Yeah.
basically Caesar at this point. When they show him,
Yes.
it's a
he's-
Roman temple. It's
He's-
ridiculous.
He's being like
They're
weighted
reusing
on
a set,
hand and foot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very, very
Nice.
not thrilling,
but
but
nice.
nice. Best Caesar.
I love that scene.
History of the world.
Yeah. Dom DeLuise.
My love. is
Okay,
in-
what's next?
If you don't love that movie, I don't. There's
I love
something wrong
History
with
of the
you. You know
World.
what I mean?
I think that's my favorite Brooks.
It is. It's the best Brooks.
That or Blazing Saddles.
So the
Blazing
Italian
Saddles, yeah.
Mario's name is Trifo. Trifo, I think.
Trifling.
Trifling.
She trifling.
He's a dummy, and Simon wants to convince him to just let him walk in. Like, we're not going to take it by force.
Yes.
We're going to take it from the inside.
I think by this point in the movie, I'd like checked out.
I was
don't even know
checked
what
out
happens.
after scene 3. I had to rewind a few times to be like, I was not paying attention. I just see black on the screen. I'm guessing
I
at some
think-
points.
So they besiege Jaffa. They can't get over the walls.
Well, we're missing something. They send, and this is real. This is something that happened.
Mhm.
Jonathan goes into a city as like an emissary
Jaffa.
I believe it's Acre. I don't know why they made a Jaffa in the movie.
In the
it's
movie,
probably
it's
just-
Jaffa, yeah.
to condense it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he gets taken hostage when he goes on like a peace mission.
Yeah,
In this, he just gets killed.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
But he does get killed in real life too.
Mhm.
And that's
Okay.
kind of what causes Simon to
they condensed it.
finally end up the leader in real life. That's what happens.
That makes sense.
So now we get, the scene where they're like, we got to get into this city.
Trifo had some problems here. He knew they were being besieged at this point with the help of God.
Yeah.
Well, God steps in.
He could
And
have
he blows up the
used
door.
some backup, And at this point, it's probably really difficult to communicate.
If only he could get a
Apollonius.
message to Jerusalem.
If only he could send a message.
And if you want to send a message in beautiful 4K and communicate in the best way possible, you want to use Riverside.
Right.
Do you know what Riverside is?
No, what's Riverside.fm?
Riverside.fm is the
Is it FM or is it com?
Is it really at
I'm pretty
.fm?
I'm
pretty sure it's
FM,
.fm. But
That's how you know it's good.
either way, you could click our link in the promo down there below. You get a discount and you get the best app possible or the best service possible for 4K podcasting. You'll be recording in beautiful 4K.
Telecommunicating.
Great customer service. All your telecommuting needs. Stop doing Zoom. It's BS and it's owned by China. All right. They're getting all your data when you use Zoom. Don't do it. Riverside. It's stable. It's for you. It's for me. It's for us.
Trifle wouldn't have got
Riverside.
killed if you had Riverside.
Exactly. Would have called for backup.
Would have called for
Everything would have been
backup.
fine.
Yeah. All that.
And a bag of chips.
So apparently, Apollonius is like, "Where's my supplies? What the hell's going on with Jaffa?"
He's getting no
He's getting
messages
nothing.
from there.
He's getting nothing.
And the chick shows
he
up.
pulls in the Elizabeth Taylor,
Yeah.
Diatoma, to be like, "What's going on here?"
She's been hanging with the Jews.
Yeah, like which side are you on? And she's like, I'm a person of the world, not a race. And
I'm a
it's like,
citizen of the world.
Yes.
I'm a 20th century
1960s fucking
communist.
hippie.
And he's like, we're hanging you. Like execute her.
Yeah, they're going to execute her.
I listened to John Lennon's Imagine.
When did that come out? Would it have been out?
No,
This is 63,
This
right?
is before the song.
It's leading up to it.
Yeah. You could tell it was in the air. It was in the air.
And they're getting ready to like kill her. And this is like, I guess, the heroic like
Moment.
final scene of the movie.
Finale.
The big
Finale.
finish.
Yeah. The Jews storm in.
Like when
Vengeance of Israel. Yeah.
like when they rescued the guys being hanged in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Right.
Yeah,
The
it's
greatest
very
film
similar.
of all time.
Right.
And they start kicking ass and doing all this. And he has a sword fight with Apollonius,
Yeah.
who has already been dead in
Simon
real life.
does.
Simon, yeah.
Yeah.
Who looks like Charlton Heston.
Yes, now he's become the Hest.
He's
Heston.
the hero.
You are the Hest.
Multiple shots
We
of him
should
looking
write a
like Hest.
movie like about the Hest. Upon every generation, a Heston rises up.
I watched Soylent Green the other day.
It's fucking great.
What a fucking killer movie.
Yeah, you've
awesome.
never seen it.
No, I'd seen it, but I saw it when I was like 17 and forgot everything about it.
Oh.
And like I don't think I was smart enough to truly understand
So
it back
I
then.
didn't know anything about it, and the first time I was getting ready to watch it, I was getting ready to watch it with you,
Uh-huh.
me and you, and Steve was there, and he goes, "Soylent Green is people."
You didn't know?
I didn't know.
That's such a famous
I didn't
line.
know anything about it. And Steve spoiled.
Oh,
it
I
right-
spoiled it right at the start?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
My wife didn't know. She watched it with me.
Okay.
But
Because
What
I
was
thought
her
everyone
reaction?
knew
well, she was
that's
looking
like,
at a phone the whole time.
I thought everyone
Oh, that's
knew
watching
that.
any movie with
with a woman.
a woman. Yeah.
Yeah.
A woman.
I thought that was like common knowledge. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing.
Incredibly dark movie. One of the
Incredibly
darkest
dark,
movies
but
I've
so
also
bleak.
incredible ending.
seen. Yeah.
Like one of the better endings of any
Well,
movie.
it's such a.
It's so
not just
depressing.
the fact that it's people, but the raising the hand in the mental
Yeah.
institution.
It's so like
Well, he's in the church.
Yeah, it's so of its time too, as far as film. Like I show it to my film class every year
Uh-huh.
because we go through like the stages of film, and when I get to the 60s, like I start. So I show them Hard Day's Night to kind of show them kind of like I guess the Beatles phenomenon, to
Mhm.
expose them to that.
Right.
I show them the first Bond movie, kind of giving them like some 60s style and like some of the sexualization that's
Mhm.
starting to happen in the 60s, but in a PG way.
Mhm.
And it's the first action movie. And then at the end of the 60s, I show them the first Planet of the Apes with
Mhm.
Heston.
Fuck yeah.
And I'm like, the 60s, there's this trend. I can't show them Easy Rider. I'm like, there's this trend, all these bleak movies.
Yeah.
It's because of Nam and all this shit.
Mhm.
And then I was like, the 70s are bleak too. And then so I follow up. I do a back to back. We do Planet of the Apes, and then we do Soylent Green. And it's like just feel bad,
Yeah.
kids.
Mm.
Yeah.
But they're important.
Well, you need, if you want to
Need it,
understand the
yeah.
history of film, you need to understand that from like this period until like 1976,
Yeah.
Everything is miserable.
is miserable, dark, dingy, and bleak.
Yes.
And it's
Right.
not until
Nothing ends on a happy note.
exactly. It's not until Rocky,
And Star Wars.
Star Wars,
Maybe
and
Jaws.
Jaws.
Yeah.
Those three movies where it's like crowd pleasers.
Yes.
And then
Right.
that's the
And
next.
that's the 80s.
The popcorn
the
stuff.
80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the 90s is like a lot of that
Tarantino and Coen
carrying.
brothers.
It's a lot of that carrying over, and then you get like kind of like this second independent movement, which takes
Right.
over the 90s.
But it's the 90s stuff is so much less miserable than the 70s stuff.
well, it's not. It's like it's crowd pleasing shit, you know, for the most part, with like a lot of good budgets behind it, mixed with like cool stylistic filmmaking.
90s is all style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's stylistic filmmaking. And then you get like the
Style of
2000s where it's like starting to run dry, and then you get to, you know, the modern era where everything is CGI and green screen.
Right.
But I do think we're actually starting to see a downturn and a return to
Return to misery.
more traditional filmmaking. I don't know if the Misery is back yet.
It'll be there.
Yeah.
We're going to get misery soon.
Is a Return
yeah.
to Misery a
Depression's coming anyway. So
MDB album?
Let's feel the misery.
Okay.
Yes. The music of neglect.
really showing hand there too. Is this the first time MDB has been brought up?
No, we spoke
No,
about
it happens.
We have. Oh, okay. Just me.
All right, so
Oh no, yeah, because Maryland Death Fest we brought up.
now they have this sword fight, and it's like really shitty, and they keep like throwing each other
Horrible.
over a balcony,
Yeah.
and then they run back up the stairs to continue fighting.
Yeah.
It's very bizarre.
And he takes an arrow to the fucking
Yeah,
neck.
he doesn't even. Simon doesn't even beat Apollonius.
He doesn't get the win.
No,
No.
he wins, but
He wins, but it's not.
it's a
him.
random happy dude with an
It's a
arrow.
random Jew with an
who
arrow
just-
just kills Apollonius.
Probably the happiest shot you'll ever see. He's just like, ha! He hits it, and you just see the biggest smile on his face, like, I got him in the neck. Like,
He's gonna suffer a
That's
lot.
a wound.
and now Diotima lived, and we get
They saved her from hanging.
probably one of the strangest things I've ever seen in a
Okay.
movie. You have that march down like this, I guess, path to the church where all the Syrian soldiers are
The temple,
crucified to the temple. They're
Yeah.
crucified, and I do like this scene because he looks and he sees like his brother, I think, or friend,
His friend,
his Syrian friend, like saying like, you know, please forgive, you know, be forgetful and stuff like that, and mercy. And it's not really him; he's just hallucinating. I love it. And then he goes to do a speech, and he takes a sword and he cracks it over his knee.
Nice.
A steel sword. And he just goes, "We cannot have violence," or just cracks it.
Well, it's brittle. You know, it's a brittle sword.
Doesn't have enough carbon in it.
Yeah. It was poorly made.
Yeah.
Look, the Jews didn't have enough time to have the sword leavened, so it's an unleavened
So
sword.
this is why they had a problem keeping their homeland. That's why they had a problem keeping their
All the
homeland.
swords
All
were
the
brittle.
swords were just brittle.
All the herbs were bitter.
Yeah. Every time they'd stab, the sword would just
Breaks.
crumble and break.
It's like the sword in Lord of the Rings when you stab
Their
someone. it just
swords are like
disappears.
bee stingers. Use them once.
That's it. You're good.
And eventually, you know, he spares all of them.
Yeah.
And he lets them leave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now Simon
That's it.
will, you know, form the Hammadius Empire in real life,
Dynasty.
the dynasty. He will ally with Rome and strengthen Hasmodium. Sorry.
Yes.
And, you know, they'll have an alliance, and it really does help them kind of stabilize that region for a
Right.
time until Rome is like, we're taking everything.
Well, Pompey Magnus,
What a
Pompey the
name.
Great, will be tasked with defeating Pontus and Mithridates in the Mithridatic Wars. And he comes east and he calls in all the favors from the eastern kingdoms, and the Hebrews will have a part to play in that. And Herod comes to power. He gets in cozy with the Romans, and Pompey essentially annexes Judea for Rome.
And then you get the People's Front of Judea, the Judean People's Front, the Jewish People's Organization.
What have the Romans ever done for us?
Oh, the roads.
Roads, irrigation.
Oh yeah, like, you remember what
Well,
the city
besides the
used to be
roads,
like.
irrigation, sanitation, medical, what have they ever done for us? Banking and systems, and well, besides that,
Great scene.
Yeah.
hysterical.
Life of Brian.
So that was the movie.
Well, before we wrap up, I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think of like the Twilight Zone?
The show.
Yeah.
show.
A few episodes I've seen are all very good.
Well,
Yeah, I've
like,
only seen like 2.
what do you think of like anthologies?
Anthologies.
I guess I like them.
Just shows that are about a different thing every week.
Yeah, like Tales from the Crypt,
I
Outer
like 'em.
Limits, things like that.
I like them.
Interesting. It's
Yeah.
cool.
Black Mirror, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aunt G actually calls his life, like his life story, the Anthology. And he chronicles everything he does. He's writing a
And
book.
his day is always different, right?
Yeah.
Like he has a different job every day, and yeah, I get it. That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
Same character in a different
setting.
Yeah.
Today I had to tie my shoes twice. I
Yeah.
don't know. I
a good
imagine that's like a struggle.
He can't tie his shoe.
He doesn't know how. Yeah.
I'm retarded.
But
Yeah.
if you're a fan of those things, and you're looking for the perfect holiday gift for that comic book and horror aficionado in your life, look no further. Tales from the Crypt, The Vault of Horror, and now there is Tales from the Toxic Pond.
Tales from the Toxic Pond.
Isn't
What's that?
Isn't
Clay
toxic?
pit in Staten
Yeah,
Island.
that's what I was gonna say. Isn't that Clay Pit Pond in Staten Island?
Used to be a clay foundry. It's been filled with rainwater.
Now it's the Toxic Pond.
Drain the swamp.
Yeah, we all chanted that on Staten Island. They all thought we were Republican.
Yeah,
Turns out we actually wanted them to drain the toxic water, and they really misconstrued what we were saying.
Didn't I talk about a toxic pond in Bombay Beach?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Tales from the Toxic Pond is brought to us.
What kind of tales are they? Fucking like
They're
dying
toxic.
lizards?
Yeah.
It's anthology.
But it's a toxic pond.
You can have all sorts of shit coming from toxic ponds.
Stuff happens
A
in
toxic
ponds.
holocaust.
Fishes can be
municipal
there.
waste.
Yeah. Every story is about thrash metal.
Thrash man.
What was that? What was it? Creature from the Black Lagoon. That's probably a toxic
Yeah.
thing.
Is that toxic?
Well, it's a lagoon. It's not really a pond. Like, they're close, right? Close enough.
But this is
Toxic
brought
Avenger.
to yeah.
Toxy.
This is brought to us by Space Chimp Comics. Reminiscent of classic sci-fi.
Oh, I've seen that guy on Instagram.
Yeah,
He's got good artwork.
he sure does. And if you want more of that, buy the book. He's a listener of the show. This is a listener ad.
You got it.
I feel like I've been following that guy for like
come
years.
this way. You have to come towards
Why?
me because you're
Oh,
so
shit.
off camera. You've been for quite some time.
Just been lounging.
You've just been-
How long has he been off camera?
Oh, a little bit. No, you could see him. You could tell he's lounging hard. That's all.
Just relaxing.
Lounging hard or hardly lounging?
When this guy's got to work and bring up that much history, you got to give him some leeway.
it takes it out of him.
Yeah,
The weight of the show is on his shoulders. He has to lean back.
professionalism.
Not gonna
Not
find it yet.
happening.
Not gonna find it yet.
At least the audio might be decent.
No, he'll be fine.
Ant's head is just
He'll be
out of
fine.
frame.
But he kept lounging a little too much, and I was
Okay.
like, he's about to go off.
He just starts laying down on the floor holding the mic. Okay. So this is reminiscent of classic sci-fi and cosmic horror series such as Twilight Zone, Night Gallery. Do you know what Night Gallery is?
No.
No, I'm not.
Night Gallery is Rod Sterling's second anthology
Twilight Zone
series.
guy.
After the
Mhm.
Twilight Zone, he did a
Serling.
series. Serling, yeah, I said Sterling. didn't
Yes. He's not silver.
I? His stories are sure silver though.
What, second best?
They're precious and rare.
but not like the
But not
most
the best.
precious.
Yeah,
and
they're
rare.
okay.
They're okay. They're the second best. They're good. You'll be happy.
No, Night Gallery was his follow-up show, but it's also similar to the Peter Cushing-led Amicus films, like Asylum.
You mean Grand Moff Tarkin?
Yes. Yep. Van Helsing himself. Asylum and From Beyond the Grave. Tales from the Toxic Pond is a horror anthology series with standalone stories centered around the mysterious supernatural toxic pond.
Oh.
Issue number 1 is now live on Kickstarter. Follow us on Instagram at Space Chimp Comics and back the project at kickstarter.com and search Tales from Toxic Pond number 1. The link is in our description below. You definitely want to click it and get your copy. I've ordered mine. Order yours. This is going to be a hot collectible. It's going to be a great book. I can't wait to
get on the
read
ground
it.
floor.
It's an anthology. And what's great about anthologies, honestly, is like
You could jump in whenever.
you could jump in whatever, but it's also like if you don't like this, like the beginning,
It's going to be completely different next week.
the next thing is going to be different.
Yeah.
This is the time, you know?
This is the moment.
Yeah. So go click that Kickstarter link, support a listener of the show, someone that
Searching
supports
it.
us. Great
Help
listener.
him help us.
Yes. You know, and click that link. That's really it. The more you help this guy, the more money he has to spend on reviewing history stuff. And I think we all know that's what's important.
Right. Well, you know, you got to get your shekels.
I got to get paid.
Get you 20 pieces of silver. 30 pieces.
20 episodes of The Twilight Zone.
Mm.
He also, the listener wanted
looks
me
cool.
to say that he thanks you.
Me?
Yeah, you personally, because you said he is allowed to wear shorts on his ecology gig as he works in the swamps.
that guy.
As he works in the swamps of Florida.
The toxic pond. He works in the toxic pond. Wait, so this guy's really writing what he knows.
Yeah.
He deals with danger noodles and swamp puppies and dogs.
Hey guys, Brian Rupert here. Just wanted to tack this on to the ad. I missed it before when we did the live read. But if you go to the Kickstarter for Tales from Toxic Pond right now, there is an exclusive tier just for listeners of this podcast. It's $20. You get the book. It's signed. And you will also get a personalized one-of-one sketch drawn by me, everyone's favorite artist. You can ask for something specific, or you can, you know, do whatever. But if you go to the Kickstarter, you'll see that tier available. Make sure you click that, and you could get your own personalized Brian Rupert original sketch. You can hang it on your fridge. You can put it on your wall. You could tell people it was a kid, because you know that's the quality you're going to get when you get a Brian Rupert sketch. So go check that out, guys.
You know about the pythons?
What?
In Florida,
In
yeah.
Florida, they're an
Yeah, I know a couple of pythons. They're right here.
Hey! No, they're an invasive species, and
Yes.
they're at war with the alligator.
Yeah, there's a war. The
Yeah.
pythons are winning
War on
too.
for your mind.
It sounds like a poor B movie, but I'd watch it. Pythons versus
Pythons versus
gators.
alligators?
They would just breed and be some shitty asylum thing. The python gator.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We just made a movie, boys.
I've been
the
playing
funds.
Fallout New Vegas.
Okay.
And
Fallout Dirty Vegas.
yes. Days go by. But they have
Fallout Susan Vega.
They have-
That's
not Susan
Isn't
Vegas.
that Susan
No,
Vega?
Susan Vegas. My name is Luca.
See here.
She also did that, I think. I think she had 2 songs.
We were talking about comics and drawings, so now I want to.
Okay.
Okay.
I think this is one of my best ones.
I know what it is.
It is your best one.
It might be your best one.
It's your best one.
Yeah.
Now,
What do you
that's
say?
all I got to say. It's star David Menorah.
See?
This is the best thing you've
Ah.
ever did. I have nothing bad to say about this.
Get him.
Yes.
Can you please come here?
Yeah.
Speak into a microphone. I'm fascinated by what you just said. Gidim said that Suzanne Vega's song, what is it called?
Tom's Diner.
Made the MP3
Help
format.
make the MP3 format.
How?
They use that song to see how far they could compress a song and it still sound good.
Really?
Huh.
Because it has vocals and music, and Yeah.
But so does any song. Why that one in particular?
that's just the
That's just the one they use.
Just something
Yeah.
they picked.
Wow, I didn't know that.
You learned something. Look, you
Yeah,
learned
smarty pants.
you learned some Judaism stuff, some war history, and you learned about the MP3.
It's great.
What a great day.
Yeah.
We got to vote. Oh, vote. We have
Vote.
to rate this movie.
We have to vote.
We
If
gotta
we
vote now.
execute this movie, are we pulling like a best of the worst? Are we gonna go like have to destroy a
Uh.
copy in the parking lot?
we gotta rate. What are you rating this? You
I
this
think
is your
I should
pick.
go last.
Okay. I gave this a 1 out of 10.
It's not a 1.
No,
I gave it a 1. I have nothing good to say about it.
I think you're being a little too hard.
It's my opinion.
Yeah.
It's not,
It's
but,
not
you know,
accurate. It's not well made. It's not well acted.
It's not even well. The story itself is not
It's
good.
disjointed and doesn't make sense. There's really very little that's redeemable about this film. But for some reason, I don't despise it. Like the way I despised Walt Before Mickey. Like that had the crime of being boring. This really wasn't boring.
It's not boring.
per
It
se.
moves, which is why I gave it a higher score.
I'm
I
gonna
think.
give it a 3.
Okay.
Still low.
Yeah.
It's not far off from a 1.
I obviously gave this the highest score. I am very kind to it because it's clear they're working with a very limited budget. This movie is 50 years old. Limited budget. We're watching a shitty film print. So how do you really judge some things? It's an Italian movie, so you know the audio is going to be off, you know, or at least I knew that. I think there is some merit in the story they're telling. Some things are accurate. Some things are wrong. Overall, I genuinely, like, I don't know if I'll ever watch this again, but I didn't hate this watch.
Mm-hmm.
I was never bored, which is like the worst thing that could happen during a movie.
Yeah.
I was never disinterested. I'm going to give it a 5.5.
You're too generous.
Yeah, that's too
I'm
much. That's too much.
I didn't hate
That's
watching this.
passing.
No, 6.5 is passing.
No.
No, 5.5.
5.5
out
is
of 10.
passing.
That is.
That's a 55. That's failing.
It's more than half.
That's not a
That's
passing
not
grade.
passing?
65 is
All
a
right, so
passing.
6 is passing.
Yeah.
Okay.
This isn't school, guys.
Well, that's how I view it. It's not passing. It's not a
Like-
good movie.
Like 2.5 out of 5 stars is still a watchable movie. You could watch a 2.5
I think this
out
is a
of 5.
watchable movie.
This is
That's why I
not-
gave it a 3.
Yeah, it's like just watchable if you're lucky. And
No,
for me, it
you
wasn't
were
watchable.
cruel.
For me, it wasn't watchable. I could not. I struggled to get through.
What did you
this.
give it? A 1?
I gave it a 1 out of 10. I
That's
struggled.
no, that's.
I struggled
that's
to
not
get through this.
Well, you said this is one of the
It's
worst.
one of the worst movies I've ever watched.
What is the worst movie you ever watched?
Oh, that's tough. That's really tough.
Mac and Devin go to high school.
There's probably some like made for TV BS that I've watched before that I could put, but off the top of my head, I'd have to get back to you. I'll make a list for
Okay.
next time because this is on there. This is on a top 5 of worst movies I've ever had to watch. Gummo's on there. Like I really fucking
Gummo
hated that.
rules.
I hate Gummo too.
So
But I do think this movie has some merit, and I think it was made with somewhat good intentions. And look, they're limited with what they could do, and I'm going to be kinder.
Blair Witch 2. Blair Witch 2.
My
I
word.
shut that movie off. That was one of the only movies I've ever shut off. Hated it. Hated it.
It ruined the lore.
It ruined a lot.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I knew I was going to be an outlier on this one.
Mm.
It's also, look, I don't get to watch Jews kick ass very often. It was nice for me
Sure.
to see that.
Sure.
Usually, you know, if I'm seeing Jews in a movie, we're either bankers, lawyers, or we're being
victims.
victims. We're being put in the fucking ovens. So it was nice to watch Jews kick ass for once.
that's why you put so high, though.
I think that probably gives it a point or two.
Mm.
But I genuinely, you know, I didn't hate the movie. But by the way, how many people on Letterboxd do you think have logged this movie?
0.
I don't know.
I was the 28th person to ever log this movie on Letterboxd.
Yeah, it's got bad ratings
So
across the board.
I'm gonna be curious to see how many of our listeners that are on
Bi-curious?
Letterboxd go and rank the movie.
Hmm.
So,
Well, you think this movie's going to get a bump from us talking about
well,
it?
I'm curious to
doubtful.
see. I imagine at least one of our listeners will go check it out, right?
Or at least a part of the movie before they shut it
They'll
off.
watch this and be like, I
What?
hate Rough.
We just told them it sucks.
Yeah. Don't go watch this movie.
But a lot of them will watch it
Just to listen.
to listen. Yeah.
I feel like
So.
this is a better history episode just to
I thought this was a good history
know?
episode,
Yeah.
right?
because the movie had nothing.
I just wanted to say
Oh, Kedem has to say something.
Microphone.
Microphone. You're on cam.
also the diner in Tom's Diner is Tom's Restaurant in New York.
In Seinfeld.
Really?
Yeah, it is. That's true.
Okay, well, you got the Seinfeld reference in for the day. Excellent. Good work,
Thank
Get 'em.
you, Tom. Tom. I'm sorry. Thank you, Get him. It's because he spoke about Tom's restaurant.
Damn it. I was hoping to not get through an entire episode without
Well, look,
a reference.
if there's one thing you could say about the Jews,
Yeah,
The
very
thing
young.
that has kept us alive for 3,000 years is our
Jerry.
sense of humor.
That's Jerry
That's from
Seinfeld, yes.
Yeah. That's the thing that has united us as a people.
That was
Tim Watley.
Tim Watley. Yeah.
He became Jewish
For the jokes.
For the jokes.
Yeah.
And this offends you as a Jewish person. No, it offends me as a comedian.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you for listening. Brian, take us out.
Don't shut the recorder after we gotta do an extra ad.
Okay.
Want to thank you all for listening and or watching. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. It really means the world to us. Oh, we didn't do the fucking Christmas episode. All right, hold on. We're gonna do two things at the end. All right, hold on. I'm gonna take that again. Want to give a thank you to everybody listening and or watching. We greatly appreciate it. Want to give a big thank you to Tell 'em Steve, Dave, Brywalt, Q, Get 'em, Lannis Record down in the studio. We greatly appreciate it. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. Give the show a 5-star review on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, everywhere like that. It helps potential sponsors find the show. Check out our Reddit page. Come join us. You could talk with us there. If you like the show, please share it with friends. We're trying to grow. Helps us, find more ears. If you like us, post about us on Reddit threads, post about us anywhere you can. Please help spread the word about the show. We really want to have a big upcoming 2024, and we want to do more cool things. Go on bandcamp.com to buy the Christmas album. $5. Half of the money goes to St. Jude. Really helps this holiday season. So far, the success of the album has been more than I think my co-hosts could have thought it would be.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We did good.
I was very happy and
Nobody could hear him, but that's okay.
I was very pleasantly surprised. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you were
it
great.
just dropped in our time.
It's our time down here.
Yes. But thank you all to everybody that's picked it up. Send an email. Let me know what you thought about it. You can send emails to reviewinghistorypod@gmail.com. Review History Pod on Twitter, Reviewing History Pod everywhere else. Follow me personally on all social media at Brian Rupert. That's with 2 P's. Follow me on Letterboxd. I rank and review every single movie I watch, even the ones in my personal life. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time. Bye.